All right, let's talk about one of the most polarizing and, frankly, wildest stocks on the market today, MicroStrategy, or MSTR. This company has gone all in on a financial strategy that you just don't see anywhere else.
So picture this. The stock has its fourth biggest single-day gain ever. We're talking a massive jump of over 26% in just one day.
Now, here's the kicker. That huge gain, it came just one day after the stock plummeted 17%. And no, this isn't some hypothetical. This is the actual roller coaster of trading MicroStrategy.
So what on earth is causing this financial whiplash? Well, this isn't just random market chaos. It is the direct result of a very deliberate, very unconventional corporate game plan.
And that really gets to the heart of it, right? You have to ask, why would any company choose to embrace this level of volatility? The answer is, they've completely changed who they are.
See, for the people who believe in this strategy, MSTR isn't really a software company anymore. They see it as something totally different. It's become a vehicle for a leveraged bet on one single asset, Bitcoin.
They actually have a name for it. They call it amplified Bitcoin. The goal isn't just to match Bitcoin's performance. The whole idea is to use corporate debt and its own structure to get its hands on even more Bitcoin, essentially multiplying the exposure.
And check this out. This shows you exactly how that amplification plays out. On a day when a major Bitcoin ETF was up around 10%, MSTR shot up over 26%. That's more than 2.5 times the return. That's the amplification in action.
So yeah, all that volatility we talked about, in their eyes, that's a feature, not a bug. The company's chairman, Michael Saylor, basically says, look, this is a rocket ship pulling some serious G's. If you can't handle it, this isn't the ride for you.
Okay, so let's dive into the why. How do the supporters justify this? Well, the bulls have a very clear, layered argument for why this high-conviction bet is, in their minds, the winning play.
It really all boils down to this one core idea they call digital capital. The whole theory is that Bitcoin isn't just another asset to invest in. It's a fundamentally superior form of capital, period.
And from their point of view, the critics just aren't getting three basic things. 1, digital capital beats physical capital. 2, it beats conventional credit. And 3, their amplified Bitcoin strategy through MSTR is the absolute best way to capture that performance.
Now, to back up this aggressive strategy, the company's CEO, Phong Le, points to what he calls a fortress balance sheet. They've piled up billions in cash, creating what he calls a digital fortress, built specifically to survive those massive market swings.
But, a plan this extreme is going to have a lot of skeptics, and they've got some pretty serious concerns. So let's look at how the company answers them.
The view from inside the bull camp is pretty blunt. They believe critics are just ignorant, that they're just reading headlines without doing the real work. But the criticisms are real. People worry they've taken on way too much debt, that these huge reported losses are a massive red flag, and that, betting the whole company on one asset is just reckless.
So let's tackle that first point on debt. This is what's so interesting. For all the talk about their leverage, the data shows MSTR's debt-to-asset ratio is actually sitting around 12%. When you compare that to the average S&P 500 company, they're at almost 20%. So, surprisingly, MSTR is actually less leveraged.
And what about those scary billion-dollar losses you see in the headlines? Well, from the company's perspective, this is a crucial point. Those are basically just paper losses required by accounting rules. It's an entry in a spreadsheet. It's not actual cash flowing out the door.
And really, all of this, the strategy, the defense, it all comes back to a single long-term vision. This isn't a game they're playing for next quarter's earnings. We're talking a timeline of years, maybe even decades.
I mean, listen to this. The leadership basically sees the huge 50% drops we've seen as just noise. They're already planning for a future where Bitcoin is at $1 million, pulls back to 750K, and they say, see, only a 25% drop. Hold on. It completely reframes today's volatility.
This timeline really puts the scale of their conviction into perspective. It kind of makes today's price, which feels pretty high to a lot of people, look like just the launch pad for a much, much bigger trajectory.
And that really brings us to the final question here. This is about more than just a stock. It's a wild case study in pure, unwavering conviction. So the question you have to ask yourself is, when you're dealing with something this high stakes, is that level of absolute belief the key to incredible success? Or is it a really dangerous blind spot?